The AI Impact Summit has finally kicked off at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. Why does this event matter to India? We lag behind the US, Europe, and China when it comes to investments and advancements in this technology. There have been some innovations that have raised eyebrows, Sarvam Ai to name one, but yet nothing that could shake up the space in any form whatsoever. So why is it important to India? One, we have the biggest users and adopters of this technology. India is now one of the leading geographies in terms of generative AI users. India even has an AI curriculum for young school children, has allocated hundreds of crores for centers of excellence. But these centers of excellence need to be careful with how they impart AI skills. AI has the capacity to modify and even dull human aptitude. Picture this. The MIT Media Lab in June 2025 published a study where they split a research group into three parts, one using ChatGPT, the second using a search engine, and a third using nothing but their own minds. The study found that LLM users displayed the weakest brain connectivity of any group, up to 55% lower cognitive engagement than those working unaided. The AI Impact Summit 2026 is about 7 chakras. Here are 7 early warning signals that researchers and columnists in India, the Hindustan Times publication among others, have drawn attention to with respect to the fast developing space of artificial intelligence. Number 1. Cognition. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said this past week that AI will be incorporated into education starting from the 3rd grade, not only as a subject but as a research theme and communication strategy. Cognitive science suggests a paradox that the human capital chakra will need to address. The more eagerly a nation adopts AI in classrooms, the greater the risks of producing a generation fluent in finding answers but incapable of developing understanding. Number 2. Culture. 69% of Google searches now end without a click to any website. Organic traffic to original content creators, publishers, bloggers, discussion forums has plummeted. India's counter infrastructure may be the most original AI contribution globally. Bhashini hosts over 350 AI models in 22 languages, trained on texts that are culturally and contextually Indian. BharatGen, the IIT Bombay-led consortium with 980 crores of rupees in funding, is developing a multimodal LLM for all 22 scheduled languages of India. Number 3. Sovereignty. India's India AI mission budget of 10,372 crores of rupees over 5 years is roughly what OpenAI spends in just 6 months. When the US convened the Pax Silica Semiconductor Summit in December 2025, India was initially absent, invited only in February 2026 after the omission drew attention. India is valued for talent and market access, not as a critical node or weakness that has meant that India relies inordinately on foreign hardware and software. The country has no domestic advanced GPU production, and most Indian professionals use AI tools built entirely on foreign models and foreign compute. 4. Manpower. Here's where India stands to be most affected by the ramifications of AI, with over 490 million informal workers, street vendors, domestic workers, small farmers. The real test is whether AI reaches the people furthest from the keyboard. Number 5. Democracy. Meta reported that AI content represented less than 1% of fact-checked information. The democratic threat may not primarily be that fake things spread faster. It is that true things stop mattering. The scale of synthetic media is nonetheless staggering. 8 million deepfakes in circulation in 2025. Over Christmas week, xAI's Grok chatbot generated non-consensual sexualized images at an estimated 6,700 per hour. India faces acute vulnerability. Over 800 million internet users, 22 languages, where automated content moderation barely functions. 6. Discovery. 90% of notable AI models now come from industry. US private AI investment stood at $109 billion in 2024. That is 12 times China's and 24 times UK's. It's anybody's guess that India competes nowhere with this kind of numbers. Number 7. Governance. The EU wrote the world's first comprehensive AI law and within 9 months began softening its own rules. Capital was flowing to jurisdictions that did not regulate. The US scrapped safeguards entirely and the costs landed on individuals. Deepfake fraud caused over $3 billion in losses in 9 months in 2025. No jurisdiction has demonstrated a governance model that works at the speed of deployment. But the recent evidence reveals a specific vulnerability, and it is not about industry in India. The state is the country's single most consequential AI deployer across healthcare, agriculture, welfare, education, law enforcement, and content regulation. It remains to be seen how quickly the government's framework on regulation comes into enforcement.